If you're looking for the best NFL betting picks, you have come to the right place because we are winning money on the show, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man. The people in the room. G Money, Grant Mitchell. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Tanner. I'm doing better than the Buccaneers are. Baker Mayfield, awful. You're a guy. I'm going to take this opportunity to rub it in your face because every time Jaden Daniels messed up last year, you made sure to come on the show and say Bo Nix is a better quarterback than him. So you know what? Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Kenny Pickett is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson are better quarterbacks than Baker Mayfield. Anybody you got, I'm taking them over Baker because that's embarrassing.
Well, it's really not Baker's fault, number one. I'll say this. Baker MVP run was a lot of fun. I missed those days. But that game was really meaningless last night. Truthfully, that game meant absolutely nothing. In the end of the day, when you really break it down, do the Buccaneers still control their destiny? Do they, Grant?
Well, technically,
yes.
no.
Technically, yes.
Well,
yes.
Technically, every team controls their destiny right now.
So the Buccaneers control their destiny. If the Buccaneers win next week and then they win in week 18, do they win the division?
Yes. They would.
Yes.
At the same time, if the Panthers beat the Saints on Sunday,
that game doesn't
beat
matter.
The Bucs next week, they have the division locked up before the last 2 weeks of the year.
The Saints game doesn't even matter. I'd like to see the Panthers lose. Obviously, it gives the Bucs a little more leeway, but the Saints game is meaningless this week.
It's not meaningless. If they win,
meaningless.
They win the division.
To the Buccaneers, it is a meaningless football game because they have to do what they got to do, and that's beat the Panthers twice, basically. Now, if the Panthers slip up this week, the Bucs beat them the next week, and then the Panthers play the Seahawks in a big game in week 17 too. We can't forget about that. So yeah, I'd like to see the Panthers lose, but at the end of the day, the Bucs control their destiny. You got to win. You got to win week. You win two. You can lose. I don't even want to see the starters in week 17. That's what I told you before the show. I don't want to see the starters. I want to win next week. Rest the starters week 17, week 18. Let's go play.
Here's another fun question for you. How much money did Kyle Pitts just make himself? 11 catches, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, the third best fantasy football performance by a tight end since 1983.
I don't know why, for him, I look back at the game log here, 11-16 against the Panthers, 3 targets, 2 catches, 14 yards, 5 targets, 2 catches against the Saints, 25 yards, 8 targets, 7 catches, 82 yards. The past 3 weeks, he's been heating up. But if you only throw the ball to him 3 times in one game, Raheem Morris, you're dumb. You just got to throw the ball to him.
I'm looking at his numbers for his career, and they're just interesting. So he comes into the NFL, has 1,000 yards as a rookie. Even though people are calling him a bust as a rookie, he had 1,000 yards. That's his only 1,000-yard season. Only had 1 touchdown that year. Next year, it's 356 yards for 2 touchdowns. Then it's 667 and 3, 602 and 4. This year, it's 797 and 4. So this is his best year since his rookie year. We'll see how the season ends because it might be his best year of his career. However, this is the lowest yards per catch of his career. He came into the NFL as a rookie with 15.1. This year, he's at 10.9. So this is just a very strange trajectory.
He also had 3 touchdowns in one game, too. So, I don't even count 4 touchdowns. The production has just not been there from a scoring perspective. I don't know how. He's that guy. Mike Evans, also that guy. He looked really good last night. Fun to have him back in the lineup. That's going to help the Bucs moving forward. I don't even know what the Buccaneers' problem is right now. I just don't understand it. The defense is really bad. I'd put the blame on the defense entirely. I mean, Baker has not been great. Obviously, the offense hasn't been great, but the defense has just been horrendous.
Putting the blame on the defense entirely is bailing out your guy because his numbers were fine last night, but the games before that, 122, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 194, 1 touchdown, 41, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 173, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Baker had been really bad for about 6 to 8 weeks. And then last night was more about the defense.
The defense has been bad. There's no chance they get stopped. And also, too, it was the week before against the Saints, it was just overall play calling. You go 2 of 7 on 4th down. You run the ball up the middle every time. You get stuffed at the 50-yard line every time. You're giving Tyler Shuck the ball at the 50-yard line. What do you expect?
Going for it 7 times on 4th down is crazy in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about the Buccaneers still being favored to win the NFC South right now, Grant?
I would bet the Panthers.
But the Buccaneers are favored to win the NFC South right now. You know why? Because they control their own destiny.
pretty much every team controls their own destiny. It's a silly thing to say. They control their own destiny less than the Panthers do, because the Bucs need to beat the Panthers twice. The Panthers only need to beat the Bucs one time, and then they just got to beat the Saints, who are terrible.
That's if they win. And if the Panthers were that much better than the Saints, don't you think they'd be like -3.5 on the road?
The Saints are
+2.5 at home. Like that's a little interesting. That's a fishy line.
Are they? They're not coming off of a bye, are they?
No, they beat the Bucs.
Yeah, they beat the Bucs. The Saints defense has been a lot better. They're like a top 5 defense over the last month. So I mean, I guess I get it, but I mean, I still think the Panthers are going to win.
I think
the Panthers are coming off of a bye too.
Maybe that's not a good thing here. I mean, so if they lose, just to play the scenario out, right now the Bucs mindset's got to be to win the next 3 games, or at least 2 of them, and they got to be against the Panthers. But if the Panthers were to lose this game and the Bucs were to win, I mean, if the Panthers lose this game, they're kind of in trouble, because then they got to face the Seahawks in week 17. And I believe the Bucs have a cupcake in week 17, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think is it the Dolphins?
That's not a cupcake, actually. That's going to be a tough game.
So basically, if the Saints beat the Panthers this weekend, whichever one of Bucs Panthers wins 2 out of 3 is the one that makes the playoff. If they split their head-to-heads and they both lose in week 17, let me figure this out for you.
I think the Panthers would have the advantage because of the division record, but they'd lose to the Saints, so they'd be back.
They'd be 2-2. They'd both be 3-3 in the division.
It goes to record against common opponent. That was why the Bucs were ahead last week.
Is it common opponent or is it conference?
I think it's a common opponent record. So that's why the Bucs had the slight advantage last week.
So, let's see. What is the order of the NFL tiebreakers? Head-to-head, if applicable. So it says conference. It says conference comes first.
So they had the same record against the conference last week.
Well, right now the Bucs are 5-5 against the conference. If the Panthers lose to the Saints, they would be 5-4. And then if they lost, and then they have the Seahawks, who that would drop them to 5-5. The Bucs wouldn't face them, so they would have the same record head-to-head, the same record against the division, and the same record against the conference. So then it would come down to common opponent.
So yeah, I mean, the Bucs are fine. They're in a good spot.
I don't know. I don't think they are, but
you got to win. Just win. Just win, baby. Simple. So I'm excited for that. That'll be good. So we got a bunch of games to talk about. But before we do that, make sure you guys subscribe to Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. We are here every Tuesday and Friday, posting clips throughout the week. So make sure you do that. And Grant, tell the people about WSN.com, which is who we are presented by.
100%, guys. After you're done, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button on this video, because that is the easiest way you can support us here at Ride the Line. Then why not go check out WSN.com? Because if you're enjoying the betting picks that we're giving out here, if you want to see even more, because we're talking about the big games in the NFL, right? But over at WSN.com, we got picks in the NBA, all the other major sports, and big one here, we got the promo codes for the sports books. That means thousands of dollars and bonuses. It is waiting over there for you at WSN.com. So you can find us here in digital form, giving out picks. But then if you are looking for even more, you want some deals, go check out WSN.com.
The biggest game in Patriots history happens on Sunday. The biggest game in modern day New England Patriots football history happens on Sunday. Patriots versus Bills. New England wins. They win the AFC East. They don't have to win this game. The Bills have to win this game to have a chance at the division. But the Patriots coming in a 1.5-point underdog, the most disrespectful line I've ever seen in my life. Josh Allen and company is a bunch of ragamuffins, and Josh Allen is literally he's the entire team. And they've been playing with fire week after week, and you can't come to New England and play with fire because we're a well-rounded football team. So, Grant, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, we talked about this game already earlier in the week when we gave out our top 5 NFL spread bets for the weekend. If you guys have not seen that video, make sure you go check that one out, because that was really fun to do. Tanner and I we don't discuss our picks before we record. And normally, if we have the same game on our cards, we normally end up taking the same side. We are on opposite sides of this one. I'm going to spoil it. You're taking the Patriots. I'm taking the Bills in this one. Now, I think the Patriots have been a better team than them up to this point, and I give them credit because although they've played a ridiculously easy schedule, when they did play the good teams, they did beat them, and they have blown out the bad teams. So they've done everything you could possibly ask of them. The Bills doesn't look as good. I guess they're coming off of a couple of wins over the Bengals and the Steelers, but you lose one to the Texans, you get blown up by the Dolphins. It's just not been feeling great overall. It does feel like a lot is being heaped onto Josh Allen's plate a little bit. But I just think this is a spot where the Bills, they are still, we can say that they have holes, and they absolutely do. And we can say they rely on Josh Allen, and they do, but they are still a good team. You don't win this many games consistently year over year if you're not a good football team. And the fact that the Patriots beat them at home, there's a piece of me that just thinks that this is part of the script almost. This is where they come back, they equalize. The Patriots are coming off of their bye. Are they going to be able to maintain that momentum coming out of it? For a young team, sometimes that just happens. We've been saying it all year. The Patriots are going to slip up at some point. Maybe coming out of your bye week, maybe this is when it happens.
So I would say that everyone needs to get over this whole Bills narrative that they're a good football team, because they're really not. In the end of the day, I mean, they have been surviving. It's Josh Allen making plays. It's the defense last week with the pick six, right? But I mean, Joe Burrow lit them up last week. So that's my biggest concern. I think Drake Maye has the same ability to do that. And then on top of that, too, when you just look at how, the Bills have been this season, I mean, we've said it time and time again, this is not a Super Bowl team. This is not a championship football team. And just because now that Patrick Mahomes is out of the playoff picture, and so is Lamar Jackson, basically, everyone's back on the Bills train like this is the year. This is the year. They don't have a good defense. They don't have skill players on offense. They have Josh Allen. So if you think he can just take over every game, good. I just don't see that happening.
Well, Joe Burrow lit them up to a certain extent. 284, 4 touchdowns is good. You also had 2 interceptions, and they fumbled. They picked it back, but they did fumble. So that you have to give the Bills defense credit for that, for forcing those mistakes.
I mean, I don't look at the screen pass at the end with Joe Burrow, the one that was like the dagger when they were driving in to make it back to a 2-score game or a touchdown game. Like he didn't get grip on the ball. Like that was not caused by the defense. The second one, the tip, but he didn't get grip on the ball for the first one. That was a self-inflicted error on the part of the Cincinnati Bengals. Credit to the Bills for taking advantage of it, but it was self-inflicted.
Well, that's also the mark of a good team, though, is when the other team messes up, you were there to capitalize. And Josh Allen, to his credit, also lit up the Bengals. I mean, 251, 3 touchdowns.
You just can't rely on that week after week. Also, James Cook, fumble machine. All he does is fumble. He can't hold on to the ball. He gave up a touchdown last week. That's been the case for them. I think the Patriots are just a more complete football team. Again, the Bills should win the game, but are they going to? I don't think so.
Let's go back and let's look at what happened. I think it was a Sunday night game when they played earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken.
You really can't even look at that game genuinely. Like I'm good to look at it, but the Patriots have gotten so much better since that point. I mean, they were an 8.5-point underdog walking into that game.
Well, I'm more so just kind of reminding myself of what happened here. So Allen, 253, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Maye, 273, no picks, no touchdowns. Patriots only 3.2 yards per carry, Bills 4.1. So neither team ran the ball all that effectively. Both quarterbacks were kind of similar stat lines. I mean, Allen turned it over. Maye didn't, but he also didn't have a touchdown. Sacks, 1 for the Patriots, 4 for the Bills. Fumble, yep. 2 lost fumbles by the Bills, 1 lost fumble by the Patriots. Overall, again, I'm trying to remind myself of what happened. Pretty even game, ends 23-20. The Patriots, like you said, the Patriots are, I actually don't know if they're a better team now than they were back then. I think they may have just kind of proved it to us more. Back then, we didn't know because they didn't have the body of work. With the Bills had the body of work.
And I think at that point now, too, the Bills have declined. I mean, I know they're starting to heat up a little bit, but when we looked at the Bills at that point in the season, we're like, this is a really good team. Now we look at them like, again, they're mid unless Patrick Mahomes isn't in the playoffs.
No, I can get down with that. We ready to go into some player props for this game?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, so I'm going to start us off with a patented double quarterback player prop. I'm going to go Drake Maye and Josh Allen. Looking at the passing lines, I'm going to take Josh Allen over because I do, while this offense does kind of rely on getting set up by the running game, Allen has also had these takeover games recently. His passing yards recently, 251, only 123 against the Steelers, but they won that game 26-7. So he wasn't really asked to throw the football. Then before that, it's 253, 317, 306, 273. Back when they played the Patriots early in the year, he had 253. So ever since Joe Brady took over as the OC, there was more of an emphasis on the running game, take some of the pressure off Josh Allen. So we've kind of gotten accustomed to him not having those huge passing totals, but he's been getting back to those ways recently. On the flip side, I'm actually going to take the Drake Maye under, which sounds a little bit blasphemous. I understand that. But the way to beat this Bills team is by running the football. They're giving up 5.1 yards per carry. That's the second most in the NFL. That's going to set up play action shots, and Maye has been really good at those. Maye is not thrown for more than 300 yards in a game, not thrown for less than 200. He's always been right in that middle ground. But as I mentioned, coming off of a bye week, there's just such a strong rhythm, so much momentum for this football team that a bye week they probably wanted to avoid it. They probably didn't want to stop playing. So I just worry they could come out and be a little out of sorts.
I don't think they're going to come out of sorts at all. Championship game at home against a division opponent. They're going to be fired up, Grant. This is the biggest game in Patriots history on Sunday.
I don't know why you keep saying that like they weren't just in 20 Super Bowls.
The biggest game in modern day Patriots, because this is the new generation of the Patriots. They're back. I'm going to take James Cook under 80.5 rushing yards. Cook had 49 rushing yards last time against Patriots, 15 attempts, 3.3 yards per carry. He had 80 last week. He's gone under this number in 3 of his past 5 games. When we look at defensively, the New England Patriots give up 89 rushing yards per game, been very good on the ground. And I do think the way this game is going to go, it has to be the Josh Allen game more than the James Cook game. Also, he's been fumbling like crazy. And eventually you got to lose trust in a guy. Eventually, when the game's on the line, you're going to give the ball to Josh Allen, not James Cook. And I think we're getting to that point where we're just seeing him take over. So I'll go James Cook under, and I think the Patriots want to take him out of the game, obviously, because that makes them one-dimensional, and then you can focus on Josh. And I think they're going to do that because of how good they've been up front.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I'll go with this is my final prop here, and I'll stay with the running backs. I'll go to the Patriots. I'm going to take Ramondre Stevenson over 38.5 rushing yards. Now, Travion Henderson is so much better than Ramondre Stevenson, but for whatever reason, they continue to give him the football. He had 12 carries against the Giants in their last game after he had come back from whatever it was. Forget what the injury was, but he'd missed some time. He had 40 yards in that game, only 3.3 yards per carry. He's only averaging 3.2 for the season, which is just horrible. It is putrid. But like I said, the way to beat the Bills is by running the football. They give up 5.1 yards per carry. And the Patriots just committed to giving Ramondre the football. I don't know if Travion Henderson, I don't know what he did. He's like a model citizen, supposedly. So I don't even know how he could have ruffled some feathers. But all year long, it's been like, okay, why aren't they giving Ramondre the football? And they were forced to for a while because Gibson got hurt and Stevenson got hurt. But Stevenson comes back and has 12 carries. So this isn't that big of a line I think can get over.
I got a fun little bet here, and I don't know if it's worth taking, but you can let me know. There's really 2 good options here.
Okay.
Most rushing yards in the game. James Cook's minus 200. Travion Henderson's plus 410. Josh Allen's plus 850.
What, you thinking hedge Travion and Allen?
Yeah, I think you put a little bit on each of them. Give yourself a chance there. I mean, it should be James Cook, obviously. But, I mean, something happens. He gets hurt. The Patriots neutralize him like he had 53 right now.
Yeah, he led the game. Josh Allen led the game with 53 when they played last time.
Yeah, so I mean that's just plus 850. You never know. And again, season on the line, game on the line. Who you giving the football to? Josh Allen and the Bills. Now, Grant, I got a question for you here. I need your scheduling help here. If the Patriots drop this game and they drop next week's game and the Bills win out, do the Bills win the division?
So they lose this game. If the Patriots, so you're assuming they win the last 2 against Jets Dolphins, right?
Yeah, they're going to be Jets Dolphins.
So they're 2-2 and 2-2 against the AFC to finish. That would put them at 13-4 at 5-1 against the division, and then 8-3. No, sorry. How many of these are they have 4? So they're playing 12 games against the AFC. So they would be 8-4 against the AFC. The Bills, if they win out, they have 3 games against the AFC. So they would also finish at 13-4. they would be no, they wouldn't win the division because the Patriots have the division tiebreaker. They would be 5-1, and the Bills would be 4-2.
So there's really no route to victory for the Buffalo Bills to win this division in the end of the day.
The only chance that the Patriots need to lose to the Bills and need to lose to the Dolphins or Jets, one of those two.
Yeah, there's really no route to victory here.
What are the sportsbooks odds saying?
-550.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because you need them to win basically a coin flip. Like, let's call this weekend a coin flip, and then you need a big underdog to beat the Patriots.
Yeah, which is asking for a whole lot there. Patriots and Broncos right now to win the division -260 if you parlayed them, and then you could add in, I mean, whoever you want to add in there, Packers, who you feel comfortable with. But I don't feel comfortable with any other team, honestly. Even the Rams, I don't feel super comfortable with.
Yeah, the Seahawks won't go away. The Seahawks are a good football team. They might not win the Super Bowl, but they're going to finish with a really good record.
They're terrible. Sam Darnold is terrible. He is so bad at football.
We got anything else on this game? We good to move on?
Good to move on.
The Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow contemplating retirement. He looks depressed. He looks like he hates everybody in that building. He looks like he wants to escape into the mountains and move away. But that's unfortunate for him because he's got to play an AFC North rival. He's got to go face Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and the Baltimore Ravens this weekend. If you pull up the odds, the big bad Ravens, who are supposed to win the Super Bowl this year, only 2.5-point favorites over the Bengals, who are 3-10, I believe, 3-10, 4-9, something like that this season. So Tanner, how we see this one playing out?
Well, eventually the Baltimore Ravens have to find themselves, right? Like they have to. I don't know when they're not. I don't know how they can't find themselves right now. Lamar Jackson looks terrible. You're an MVP, multi-time MVP. Last season, you should have won MVP. And you're playing like you don't even know how to play football anymore. So I don't really know what's happening with this team. All I know is Joe Burrow is going to show up. And I know the Ravens can't stop Joe Burrow. And I know the Bengals defense plays better when they have Joe Burrow on their side, especially against the Ravens, as we saw on Thanksgiving night. So I would take the 2.5 with the Bengals. I mean, just the fact that they were a 7.5-point dog on the road on Thanksgiving. Now they come home, they're a 2.5-point dog. It's a pretty big shift there. So I do think the Bengals get it done here, and I think the Ravens continue to fall, and we don't see Lamar Jackson in the playoffs this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens come in and whoop their butts either.
Yeah, I could easily see the Ravens winning 40-13 or something like that. What are the Ravens' chances? The Ravens are currently plus 164 to make the playoffs. The Bengals are plus 1,500. That's not going to happen. So it looks like the Ravens, I would assume they're what? Minus 200, minus 196 to miss the playoffs. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be without Lamar Jackson and all of them in the playoffs this year. Like you said, this isn't even a case of Lamar's playing bad. This is a case of it doesn't look like it. It looks like someone else. It looks like someone went to Party City, found a Lamar Jackson costume and put it on and went out there. He can't throw the football. He can't run it. He doesn't seem to want to. He doesn't know what to do. He's turning it over like crazy. Genuinely, it looks like something is wrong. It looks like his helmet doesn't work. The communications. I don't know what's going on, but he doesn't look like Lamar Jackson.
No, he looks terrible. And again, I could see him finding it. But when I look at what's coming into this game and I look at the pieces that should be more solidified, right? It's Joe Burrow, it's T. Higgins, it's Jamar Chase, it's all these guys. It's not on the flip side, Lamar Jackson.
So let me build off of that. To anybody who hasn't seen it, go check out Joe Burrow's press conference. Adam Schefter did a whole little hit on it, said that league executives took notice of this. People are wondering if Joe Burrow is going to retire. People are wondering if they're going to have a chance to trade for Joe Burrow. He looked so distraught, saying that he's not having fun playing football. He's having problems in the building. He's having problems in his personal life. He looked so just on another planet, like he didn't want to be there. Crazy stat. He has been sacked 20 more times than Andrew Luck was in 13 fewer games. So he's getting killed. He's had 2 season-ending injuries in 6 seasons, and then this toe injury, which caused him to miss 3 months, so not that far off of a season-ending injury. The poor guy's being beaten to hell, and it's weighing on him. So everyone's going to expect him to play a bad game because he looked like he wanted to be anywhere but at that podium answering those questions this week.
I wonder if he could request a trade. Sorry, I cut you off.
What'd you say?
I wonder if he could request a trade.
I think the first thing he does is he says, hey, you need to fire the GM. You need to fire the head coach, something like that.
Zach Taylor's a Super Bowl coach, Grant. You're not firing Zach Taylor. They need a better GM. They need offensive linemen.
Well, I say all of this to say, Tanner, everyone's going to expect Joe Burrow to play terribly. Take his over. He's going to come out there. He is going to throw the leather off of the football. 261 in his return game against the same Ravens team while only completing 52% of his passes. Imagine if he completed 65 like he normally would. 284 last week against the Bills. In both those games, well, actually, the defense played well against the Ravens the first time. Last week, the defense was awful. They gave up 39 points. But that's what you should expect from this Bengals defense because the Bengals defense is not good. So if the Ravens can do anything, have a pulse on offense, and force the Bengals to throw the football, Joe Burrow is going to beat his passing yards.
I agree. I think Joe Burrow is going to go over. That's one of my plays in this football game. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens defense, everyone says they've gotten better until they face Joe Burrow, and then he lights them up, right? Passing yards per game allowed. The Ravens currently rank where they at on here. They're bottom 10 in the league. They're giving up 236 a game. Joe Burrow is going to light them up. The only thing to note is T. Higgins is in concussion protocol right now. So if he is questionable, what are you going to get? But I don't believe he was not on the field on Thanksgiving. So it was just Jamar Chase, I believe.
I don't know about Thanksgiving, but if you got Jamar Chase, you're fine.
I mean, he did not play in the Thanksgiving game, T. Higgins. So they'll be okay, no matter if he's on the field or not. Joe Burrow goes over. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase over 91.5 receiving yards, just consistently got open on Thanksgiving. I think that's going to be the same case here. I don't see a world where he doesn't. And then I also like Mark Andrews over 39.5 receiving yards. The Ravens are going to have to throw the football in this game to win it. And Mark Andrews has been one of the most consistent options for them. Again, 9 yards last week. That has not been good, but the week before against the Bengals had 6 targets, 4 catches, 47 yards. When they got to throw the ball, they're going to look to Mark Andrews, especially with Lamar Jackson just not playing confident right now.
So building off of that, I'm going to take Derrick Henry under 88.5 rushing yards. The whole Lamar Jackson not being confident thing, it sounds crazy, but right now you got to make Lamar Jackson beat you. Again, sounds insane. Guys won 2 MVPs, should have had 3. Derrick Henry's had a very weird year. Everything is just so up and down. His yards per carry by week, 3.86, 3, 5.7, 3.8, 6.3, 3.4, 5.1, 2.2, 5.3. It's a constant up, down, up, down, up, down. His yards, 94, 60, 64, 103, 75, 119, 71, 122, 33, 42, 50, 23, 169. Just so up, so down. This Bengals team, they just got to look at this offense. They were able to do a number on them. Derrick Henry only had 10 carries for 60 yards in that game. So he's averaging 6 yards per carry. Didn't get a bunch of attempts because the team was playing from behind and they had to throw the football. But if I'm the Bengals, I'm saying Lamar Jackson's been terrible lately. Let's get that yards per carry number down. Let's not let him average 6 yards per carry. And let's stack the box, make Lamar throw it because he's not proven that he's been able to do that with any real success lately.
This may be a hot take, but Derrick Henry is low-key one of the softest runners in the NFL.
Okay.
And it's true.
What do you mean?
He needs to get through the first layer of defenders. He cannot make something out of nothing.
Well, that doesn't mean he's soft.
No, but he does not, he's not going to run you over. He does not in the hole box, not in the tackle box. He's not going to lower his shoulder and run you over. Maybe that's to stay healthy. I'm not sure. Obviously, he's 31 years old. He's still playing in the league, so he's doing something right there. But how many times, and for a guy who is 6'2", 252 pounds, hits the line of scrimmage and just falls down? It happens all the damn time with him.
Well, he's got to get going. It takes him a while to get rolling.
I know, but you should be able to plow somebody at 6'2", 250. And maybe, again, this could be to stay healthy. I'm not sure. But you never see him just run somebody over in the line of scrimmage. on the line of scrimmage.
Yes, you're right.
So he's one of the softest runners I've seen, honestly.
No, you can't call him soft.
Well, I mean, he would kill me, obviously, but like he's still like I can't tell you how many times I see him hit the line of scrimmage and fall down.
No, it does happen a lot. It's also probably just the fact that he's such a big guy that if you get his legs when he's before he's actually rolling, it's probably hard for him to keep moving.
I want to see him kill somebody. I don't see that. I don't see that desire. I don't see that will.
Maybe you got to go back and watch his age 25 film.
Yeah, probably, to be fair. But again, 31, it might just be a health thing. But if he does not get through the first line of defenders, like he is not running anywhere. So
I wonder if, I wouldn't need to go back and look. I don't even know if you could find like Barry Sanders high school stats, but I wonder if Derrick Henry is the best all-level running back of all time. Because he might be the best high school football player ever. He won a Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, probably is. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, gotta be.
He won a Super Bowl?
No, he did not win a Super Bowl, but let's see. All-time rushing yard leaders. Where's Derrick Henry on this? How many years we think he has left? Played at like a good level. Probably maybe 2.
Yeah.
So
No, maybe 1, maybe.
So he's 11th in all-time rushing yards right now. He's either going to get to 10th or he'll be like 1 game away from 10th when the season ends. Rushing touchdowns, he's 5th. He's got a 2,000-yard season. He's definitely in the Hall of Fame.
It's impressive how he's played till he's 31, and maybe that's because he's not lowering his shoulder. But I'd like to see more violence in the hole.
He is still, I get what you're saying. He is still violent, though. So the fact that he's that big and he does take that many hits and he's still playing, that's really impressive.
Yeah, but I don't want to see him falling down like a pillow at the line of scrimmage, and he does that way too much. Anyways, I'll take Derrick Henry to go, let's see here, 88.5 yards. I'm going to take Derrick Henry to go under in this game.
So you're just copying me?
Yeah, I'm going to copy here. I'm going to take Derrick Henry to go under. Well, I was going to say like first touchdown. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get cute. That Derrick Henry under, I agree with Grant.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking back at his numbers again. He almost had 2 2,000-yard seasons because he had 2027 in 2020, and then he had 1921 last year. So he almost did it twice.
Here's a fun play. Derrick Henry over 19.5 longest rush parlayed with his under, and it doesn't even let you do that. But I thought I was onto something because he's going to have a big carry. He's always going to have a big carry. Like he's too good not to, especially against a defense like the Bengals. But then it falls apart quick with him.
His longest carry against the Bengals was 28 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, so he'll hit 19.5.
On to the next one.
Yep, on to the next one.
Sunday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, 2 weeks ago, they lose 26-0. 1 week ago, they win 31-0. A 57-point turnaround for them. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, I would assume still mathematically in the hunt to make the playoffs because the Philadelphia Eagles are just totally collapsing. Yeah, Dallas plus 640 to make the playoffs, but at the same time, the Eagles on a 3-game losing streak, and that might continue. So never say never with them. Dak Prescott was playing at an MVP level for a while. Not going to win it, but he has still been one of maybe the 5 to 7 best quarterbacks in the NFL this season. So how do we think this one's going to go?
I mean, 9's back. 9 is back. I want to see if you search 9 ESPN if it comes up. It does not come up.
Okay, good. I'm glad it doesn't.
9 is back. I love JJ McCarthy. This kid's a baller. Coming off 16-23 against your Washington Commanders last week, 163, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he played his best game of his life against you guys.
And for 163 yards.
You're not going to ask him to do too much. You don't need to ask 9. So I don't know if you've heard the press conferences, but he only channels 9 at a few points in the game. Like he's not 9 the entire game. He only turns it up to 9 when he really has to.
Did he say this?
Yeah, he did. No, like go look at it. This is
so like. So this isn't just a meme. This is like his real alter ego.
No, it's his real alter ego. Because he can't do it the entire game because it takes too much focus to be 9 the entire game. So he only turns it up to 9 in like high leverage situations. It's psycho. It's awesome. So I mean, just out of respect to 9 himself, what's the spread here? We got or I'm like lost here. Just out of respect to 9 himself, I mean, I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to hang around in this football game because the Dallas Cowboys, while they have been better on defense, the Minnesota Vikings defense is a better overall unit. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to look like now that they're basically out of the playoff hunt. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, obviously really difficult to stop here. But if any defense can let 9 get going, it is the Dallas Cowboys. So I think the Vikings are going to be just A-okay in this game. 6.5 points, a little too much there. I'll take Minnesota.
Well, to be fair, if there's any defense that could let him get going, it was the Commanders, and that happened already. Yeah, the Cowboys did give up 44 points last weekend, though. Honestly, them giving up 28 to the Chiefs kind of looks bad because they beat the Chiefs, so we were thinking it's a good win, but that Chiefs offense stinks. So they allowed Mahomes to go for 260 and 4 touchdowns, something like that. That's not very good.
And that was Super Bowl too. Like we talked about this. Like Chiefs on Thanksgiving, like the Cowboys don't play in big games. So when you get a big game against the Chiefs at home on Thanksgiving, Post Malone halftime show, you're obviously going to show up. But now you're just back to like getting ready to go to Cancun. So nine's focused on 2026. He's going to be locked in for this game.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I am going to take a 9 prop. Nice. I really wanted to take him under 193 passing yards because you're right. He played the best game of his career and he had 163 yards. What I am going to do is I'm going to take him under 28.5 passing attempts because you don't want to get in a shootout with the Cowboys because you will lose. Now, I get they lost to the Lions last week 44-30, but it's a very different circumstance. Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs can score a lot of points, and I don't think the Vikings can with 9, as we were saying. His passing attempts in games so far this season, so 23 against the Commanders, 19 against the Packers, did have 32 and 42 in the weeks before that, but it's 25, 21, 20. So that makes us 5-2 to the under. Again, the Cowboys defense is bad, and that applies to the passing game, but also to the ground game. They've been better with Quinnen Williams, but we'll see how Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are able to be schemed open by Kevin O'Connell and them. You don't want to get in a shootout with the Cowboys. You just don't want to do it. And 9, as good as he might have looked last week, he's not if he has to channel for a couple of plays when he can play good, that says it in itself.
Yeah, you can't have him throw the ball a million times per game, but I do like the over 193.5. I mean, I think that's a really fair play because you can't get in a shootout, but you're going to have to score. And you can't just run, throw on third down, go off the field, let the Cowboys have the ball back. So I do think he's going to have a good game there. I also think when it comes down to it for the rushing props for 9, over 15.5 looks pretty juicy here. I mean, the Cowboys front seven's been better. The pass rush has been better. He's coming off 6 for 19 against the Washington Commanders last week. The 2 weeks before that, obviously didn't have a lot, but then he had 5 for 48 against the Ravens. So like he's more than capable of going over this number in a couple rushes. His long rush attempt, if they have one, they do not have one on here. But I do think JJ McCarthy over a 15.5 fair play, especially with how the Cowboys pass rush has looked.
The other quarterback, Dak Prescott, how about him to throw an interception? So he's got 10 picks this year, 7 of those in the last 6 weeks, and at least 1 interception in 5 of his last 6 games. The only game where he didn't throw one was against the Raiders, who are just a pathetic football team. The other teams in there, 2 picks against the Broncos, 1 against the Cardinals, 1 against the Eagles, 1 against the Chiefs, 2 against the Lions. Now, I get the Vikings are worse than probably all these teams, except for maybe the Cardinals. But if we're only talking defense, which is really all that matters, Vikings have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I guess maybe only Denver's is better than them, but Vikings have a better defense than the Cardinals, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions. So if all those teams were able to intercept Dak, and with this Cowboys offense being so committed to throwing the football, Dak's going to throw it 35 plus times a game. You only need one of those. And this Vikings defense is very opportunistic. They wreak havoc. Brian Flores is a sicko. So I think you can get Dak to throw a pick here.
I have the most criminal betting line I have ever seen in my life, Grant, for this game.
I might have it written down too. So I'm interested to see what you got.
Luke Schoonmaker, anytime touchdown plus 155.
No, that's not what mine was.
That's the most criminal touch. He was like plus 800 a week ago when we were talking on here.
He hasn't scored a touchdown this year.
He's got 10 catches for 76 yards this season.
He's got 3 touchdowns in 47 career games.
That's crazy. And he's only caught 2 passes in a game this season, plus 150. And Ferguson's in the lineup. So who's hurt?
Yeah, and Ferguson's playing. That's what I'm looking at.
Ferguson's playing. So who's hurt? Like, what is this?
Unless Ferguson's questionable, is he? He is questionable. Okay. Ferguson's calf was a non-participant at Thursday practice.
So they just don't want to give you the option to bet Luke Schoonmaker plus 800 and then bring him down to plus 155. So if Ferguson is on the field, Schoonmaker better go up to like 4-1. He better.
I think what they did was because Ferguson and Schoonmaker have the same odds. So they basically said, we're calculating the tight end odds and we're giving it to both of them because we don't know who's playing.
Still, though, even if he didn't play, I would not be betting on Luke Schoonmaker touchdown, but I'll take George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb touchdown. I mean, you bet both of them. One's going to score, obviously, plus 115 for each. Don't love that, obviously, because you kind of need them both to score if you bet them both. But they're both so good. I think they're each going to have a great game. But one thing you could do, realistically, if you want to have a little fun here, if you're high on the Cowboys, you could take Javonte Williams first touchdown, George Pickens first touchdown, CeeDee Lamb first touchdown, put them all together, and you got a decent chance of hitting something here and making a decent profit. So, they each pay about like $10 on each, pays 55, 65. So you can make $35 just by that going the first touchdowns for the Cowboys. I personally think the Cowboys are going to be the team to score the first touchdown in this game. I would be surprised if they weren't.
I'm going to take another touchdown prop. I'll take Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown score. It's not very often, maybe ever again, you're going to get Justin Jefferson to score for plus 160. No, I get it. He's only got 2 touchdowns all year. I get it. And nine is ruining his legacy case. Justin Jefferson averaged more receiving yards per game than any player in NFL history. And 9 has come back into the lineup here. And Jefferson had 11 yards last week for the week before that. So, and then to his credit, they asked him how he felt about it, not being all that involved. He said, it doesn't matter. We won the game. And that's all I care about. Credit to him for saying that. But he's too good. You have to give him the football at some point. Plus 160. I get mathematically, consider he scored twice in however many 13, 14 games. Sure, it doesn't look great, but it's Justin Jefferson we're talking about.
I like that. I also don't hate Dallas defense plus 850 to score a touchdown. Again, the pass rush has been good. JJ McCarthy 9. If he's not channeling 9, there's a chance that he throws one up for grabs and they get it done there. So those would be my plays. I like them all.
Yeah, he said he can't channel it every game or every play. So
he said I think it was like 5 to 7 plays a game. Like he turns up 9.
I don't know how the other players in the locker room can respect that.
I think they love him, but also, have you seen the clip from training camp where the offensive lineman comes up to him? He goes like, "Get us going," and JJ McCarthy comes into the huddle like totally flat. I don't know if you've seen that. Yes, I don't know, but like after that first game when they beat the Bears, everyone was all on the JJ train. Like this kid, he's just a winner. I think he seems like a winner to me, but he's not good.
Is that when the meme happened against the Bears?
Yeah. I think so. But it wasn't a meme at the time.
No, it was just him it was 9.
It was 9. It became a meme when he threw like 9 interceptions or 9 turnovers. That's when it really became the meme.
Kevin O'Connell, he said something like, "You're just competitive and you just don't want to lose." It's like nobody ever says he's good. If people are just like, "Oh yeah, he really loves football. Oh, he loves winning." Nobody says, "Yeah, he's really good."
One quick pivot here. Speaking of Michigan football, not going to bring up the situation with Sharon. Not going to bring up the situation with Sharon Moore. By the way, I can't tell you. I saw a tweet. Okay, got to bring this up. I saw a tweet that was like, "This is why you don't hire attractive staffers to be like your thing." And then somebody quote tweets it, or it's like, "This is why you don't hire attractive staffers." And, it's like she knew that he had like 3 kids and a wife. And somebody quote tweets it. It's like, "Don't you think Sharon Moore knew he had a wife and 3 kids too?" But anyways, Michigan football is on the rails right now.
Yeah, it's not a
do you think Do you think if he beat Ohio State, he would have kept his job through the end, at least the end of the year? Yes.
Well, so I was listening to Josh Pate, and apparently Michigan, this according to Josh Pate, he said it's been bubbling behind the scenes. People have known this happened. Michigan knew this happened. They waited to see if he was going to go like 7-5, 8-4. And if he did, they were just going to fire him for performance reasons and they were going to hide the scandal basically. But because he went 9-3 and you can't get blamed for losing to Ohio State, they had to fire him, but it couldn't be for performance reasons.
Gotcha.
So that's when they kind of released to the world what had happened. But yeah, Pate said like agents of other coaches have known for weeks, maybe a month, that this job was going to become available.
He should have tanked then. But again, you couldn't really. I mean, obviously you can't sleep with your staffer, but the biggest issue there was the fact that he like tried to kill her too. Like that's what really made it.
Well, that's all rumors right now, right?
No, I think he's detained. I thought
he is detained. We don't know for sure why. So the rumors could be true, but
you don't get detained for sleeping with your staffer. You get detained for going over to the house and doing something, you know? So anyways, but Michigan football, the glory days was when 9 was tossing the pigskin around. But anyways, on to the next game here. Grant, why don't you take us into Monday Night Football?
Dolphins, Steelers, AFC showdown. Steelers all of a sudden, I guess I can say against all odds, even though they've been leading it all year. Steelers look like they're going to win the AFC North, clinch the division title, going into the playoffs. The Dolphins, everybody's saying fire Mike McDaniel. What are you guys doing? All of a sudden, they've ripped off a 4-game winning streak. They're not going to make the playoffs, but maybe they're not as bad of a football team as we all thought. So, how are we thinking this one's going to go down on Monday night?
I mean, the Dolphins are kind of back right now. Like, the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a big win against the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, it's a division opponent. That was a division championship game, realistically, when you look at it. Now the Steelers control their own destiny. My biggest fear here is the Dolphins coming up playing in the cold on a Monday night. Like, if it wasn't for that, I would lean towards the Miami Dolphins. If this game was in Miami, I would 100% take the Dolphins. They've looked a lot better, and I got to tip my cap to them. They've had the talent the entire time. Now they're just starting to piece it together, obviously, and Mike McDaniel's probably going to get a nice little contract extension. I still don't think the Steelers are good. I think the Ravens are bad more than the Steelers are good. That's my summary of last week. But I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off what they have done and knowing that they control their own destiny for the division where the Dolphins are just playing to play.
I'm taking the Steelers -3 for all the reasons you said. Same thing. They control their destiny. They can get to the playoffs if they keep winning. The Dolphins have turned it around, but they've also looked horrible, and they're actually still winning despite Tua turning the ball over, which is not something you can do consistently. And it is a cold weather game on the road in a big spot. That's just as screams anti-Dolphins. That's where the Dolphins are at their worst.
Yeah. My first player prop in this game is going to be Tua turn the ball over 195.5 passing yards, Grant. I hate to do it because it's a cold weather game, but like Devon Achane getting in space, screen passes, it adds up. I mean, Tua is more than capable of going over this number. Pittsburgh Steelers give up 244 passing yards per game. They're one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. And I know it's probably going to be cold in Pittsburgh, but that's such a low line for Tua overall. 126 has not been going good for Tua throwing the ball. I've seen that. But I still think you're going to come in and throw the football in this game. Because if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to make Tua throw the ball in this game. I'm going to try to shut the run down with Achane, and I'm going to make Tua throw.
I'm also taking Tua's over. He hasn't gone over 173 in a month, but he also hasn't thrown more than 23 passes in a month. You look at his passing attempts early in the season, he was in like the mid-30s most of the time. Now, you can say that's because Achane's done such a great job, and he has. But Achane right now is questionable. Even if he plays, he had a pretty significant rib injury to the point that it almost knocked him out for a little bit. So I just don't think they're going to be slamming up the middle with Achane all that much. Like you said, Steelers passing defense has been pretty bad. And the Steelers are going to find a way to score points because this Dolphins defense isn't that good. So you're going to have to throw the ball at some point, and this is a low line.
Jalen Wright over 23.5 rushing yards right now, if you want to lock that in. Pretty good line. I mean, 24 for 107 last week.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were going to keep going. I'm going to go.
If you don't like, I mean, I'm not taking it, but if you don't think Achane's going to play, or if you think Achane's, or you think they're going to limit Achane this game, I mean, they got nothing really to play for at this point. But
so I'll give you an interesting little. I don't even want to call it a hedge. Just maybe sprinkle these on some long shot touchdown scores. Pat Freiermuth touchdown. He's got 4 of them this year. He's a goal line threat. The Dolphins defense, I just don't have a bunch of respect for. The Steelers have been throwing it to like Darnell Washington and stuff, and they've been running it with Kenneth Gainwell. They do weird stuff at the goal line, and that could be setting up a Freiermuth touchdown. It's plus 320 odds. And then Malik Washington plus 480. This kind of goes back to the whole Achane thing, but if he's limited, if he doesn't play, whatever. Jalen Waddle is so clearly the number 1 receiver in this offense. It's not even close. He's got 812. The next closest receiver is Malik Washington with 274. So when you get into scoring positions, Waddle's obviously going to draw the majority of the defense's attention, double coverage, stuff like that. That leaves Washington on an island, and you might be able to find something there.
Potentially Darren Waller too. Cold weather game. Obviously, he's had 4 touchdowns on the season, has not had one in 3 weeks, not getting a lot of targets, but when he does get them, tend to be around the goal line. So that's another one. Thing about the tight ends that I don't love, Grant. I mean, you got Freiermuth, Washington, and Jonnu Smith. So you got 3 guys in that plus 320 range. You could take them all and see what happens there. But yeah, I think it's tough to predict who's going to score from that perspective. For me, though, I will be going with player long rush. If Achane plays, pending he does, over 17.5. He's too explosive not to hit this number. If he breaks through, he's going to go for 17.5. He could do it in a minute. And also, if we have longest reception on here, which I don't mind either, longest reception here for... Let's see those longest reception. Here we go for Devon Achane, 12.5. I also like that as well.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I probably like that one more, honestly, than the rushing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep.
His long for receiving so far, 13-0 the week before, 22, 15, and 19. So has been a very high success rate on this line.
Yeah, just get it to him, make one man miss, and he's in space, and he's really tough to bring down. He's also just fast, so he's going to get there quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else?
I'm good on this game. This game kind of stinks. It's not going to be the best Monday night game.
No, but the schedule's pretty good this weekend. I mean, it starts with the biggest game in Patriots history on Sunday, so I can't wait for that one. Buccaneers let me down last night. It is what it is. They still control their own destiny. So got a lot to look forward to in the last 4 weeks of the regular season.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for this video. So if you did enjoy, make sure that you leave a like on this video. Also, hit that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to jump down in the comments. Let us know what you're going to be betting on, what your thoughts are on our picks, all that great stuff. Also, check out WSN.com for more picks, promo codes, everything like that. And Tanner, get us out of here.
That was Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. We will see you next time for another episode.